this camp already seems like it has a much different vibe when it comes to you, just because this is no longer you're no longer the new guy. You know this organization, you know this team.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels refreshing. I think don't want to talk much about last year, but after all that happened, I mean, obviously we had a long off season, and this seems like a fresh start, and everyone just very excited to see each other, and very excited to get going with a lot of new faces and additions that we got.
How much more comfortable do you feel just in who you are, with your role in this organization and what you can bring?
I mean, I feel like I felt comfortable last year. Maybe a little trying to fit in. Not really fit in, but trying to get a feel for everything. I mean, just trying to meet everyone, trying to remember names, remember so much. And now I come into the camp this year, and I got different stuff I got to learn. Not people, but positions. So looking forward to that. I'm always open to adapting and open for challenge. So I'm definitely ready.
It's easy for me to go ahead and see the vibe and the chemistry of this camp just with what I'm watching visually. What does it feel like? What's different about the vibe this year with the guys that you have versus what it was a year ago?
I feel like whenever you have a lot of fresh new faces, guys goes to different sceneries, guys changing teams sometimes. In our case, we got a new voice at the helm. With our manager. Like Bob, but obviously things didn't work out, and now we got Shildt. So I feel like all of that has an impact. New hitting coaches, new coaches. So just a lot of movements, a lot of moving parts, a lot of additions, and I feel like that's why everyone's just excited. A lot of fresh stuff, and everyone looking for a good start.
Musgrove mentioned that he's a really, really good communicator. What's the difference with Mike Shildt versus what stands out about him?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go on a difference. I wouldn't want to say a difference or compare them. But I'll just talk on Shildt on himself. There's no comparison. Communicates well. Obviously. Has a good history of winning, so he has a good knowledge of knowing what he's talking about and backing it up, especially with the numbers. He's been on some very, very good teams with the Cardinals, very good organization, winning years, winning mentality. Just trying to bring that culture here. Not like we're doing an overhaul on anything, but as I said, just a different voice sometimes can go a long way, and I feel like maybe that's the reason they kind of did that, and no comparing though, nah.
Last year, so much conversation about the big four. Now this is the big three. How much do you, Manny, and Tatis put on the three of you to go ahead and lead this squad? And you're going to have a lot of some young faces on this roster.
Yeah, and I feel like I was telling one of the coaches, like I've been on winning teams with the Red Sox, and all the winning teams that I've been on, you always need to have a couple young guys step up and contribute. You wish all would do it right away, but that's not always the case. But most of the time, it's always one or two that kind of plays better than he's expected to play, or play like he's supposed to play down the road in a couple of years, not right off the bat. So I feel like we always, me, Manny, and Toddy, we always expect a lot of great things of ourselves. We know we're much better than what we did last year. No, not saying that any one of us played terrible, because we didn't. But I mean, obviously, when you're such a good player, people view you differently, and they view like you can do a lot more. So I think we kind of think high of ourselves also.
You mentioned the young guy. I'll start with the guy that's right next to your locker, perhaps by design. Jackson Merrill.
It's my guy. Good kid. Probably one of the first guys I met last year. Came for one of the fan fest. One of the first guys I met. So obviously I kind of gelled with him pretty quick. I used to write him throughout the season last year. I have him on Instagram and stuff like that. So we used to write each other a little bit. So looking forward to seeing him, seeing how he developed. I know it's a bit tough now because he's taking balls in the outfield, so it's not like I could see him every day at shortstop like it was last year. But looking forward to see how he developed and how he improved his game.
I mean, the Padres are moving all those shortstops to the outfield. Are you next, Xander? What's happening here?
That's a good one. Ask AJ. But I mean, that's the most athletic position on the field, I guess. So you can never have enough. I feel like that's a good answer.